All right, good morning everyone. I'm Tasha. I'm a health and wellness coach with the Waukesha Employee Health and Wellness Center, and today is Friday, July 3rd. I know many of you at Waukesha County, City, and School Districts are off today, but we at the clinic are open. I'm working from home today, and I'm still going to go through our 15-minute virtual Feel Good Friday stretching class break for you, so you can watch these recordings in the future. And I'll be doing a couple different things today to mix it up for your routine. So let's get started. I'm sitting on the floor. You can do this standing if you prefer, but I like to sit for these just cross-legged or legs out straight in front of you. I'm using a pillow to sit on. You can use a couch cushion or a mat. I just like to start by closing my eyes. Taking some nice deep inhales and exhales. Scanning the body for areas that need attention today for our stretch. On your next inhale, let's bring both arms up above our head. And you may have heard my shoulder pop there. You might hear that's accidental sound effects during stretching. You can interlock your fingers or just grab one hand with the other and gently pull up, elongating your torso, reaching for the sky. And then on your next exhale, let's push out in front of you, kind of rounding out your shoulders and back. Remembering to breathe here. Stretching the deltoids, our shoulder, neck, upper back. On your next exhale, let's transition to grab your hands behind your back now and pull down and away. Getting the opposite muscle group. So this is stretching the front, pulling the shoulders down and away from our ears. And think of just imagining elongating and lengthening the distance between our shoulders and our ears, really doing a nice pec, chest, shoulder, neck stretch here. And we can add a bit deeper neck stretch. Just gently move your head front to back, nice and slowly. Just exploring the range of motion, the limits that your body allows you this morning. And coming back up to center, let's now go left to right, so side to side. And the goal is not to necessarily try to touch, your ears to your shoulders here. It's just, again, moving through and exploring this range of motion. Seeing what your body allows comfortably, but still engaging and challenging. Circulation, elongation. Just waking up these muscles and showing them some attention after a long week. Let's bring those hands back to either resting at your side if you're standing or just resting on your knees if you're seated. Let's do 3 more transitional deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, let's reach one arm up above over our head, leaning to one side. And if you're seated, you can use your other hand on the ground here just as support. Good. Exhale to transition, and let's windmill over, switching sides. Remembering to continue to breathe. Next exhale, coming back up to center. What are we doing for time? Oh, really good. Good. Let's do some tricep stretches. So if you are a regular on my Wednesday, my Wellness Wednesday move break classes that I do, it's 15 minutes of just gentle moving, kind of a mid-afternoon, again, circulation and moving break to get us up off of our seats, off our desks or chairs if we're working in the office or at home, to break up any long periods of sedentary behaviors. So important to take regular stretching and moving breaks. And if you've been on my Wednesday classes the last couple of weeks, we've done some wall push-ups, and I showed a variation the last couple of weeks on how to do tricep focused wall push-ups. So let's give these arms a good stretch. If you've been doing any tricep work recently, it's important to stretch these guys out. They don't get enough attention. So let's bring one arm up next to our head here, and kind of use your other hand to guide it. Now the form here for these tricep stretches is important, and I was always trained to use a tennis ball or a softball analogy. Make sure we have a softball or tennis ball size gap and space between our chin and our collarbone. So we want to continue looking straight ahead, keeping our chin off our chest for this stretch, both for the safety and protection of our neck and the integrity of the stretch. Keeping our head at neutral helps to focus on our tricep here. Let's go ahead and switch. You can kind of shake those arms out in between if you need to. Bring your other arm up, elbow next to your head, chin off your chest, looking straight forward. And depending upon, your body and any recent activities or exercises, I've been doing lots of outdoor yard work these last few evenings. So I feel this in my shoulder, sort of the outside of my arm, just as much as I do my tricep here. You might as well. Next exhale, let's gently lower those arms back down, shake them out again if you need to. Let's actually do some shoulder rolls. It's just kind of a nice, natural transition to do after that. I like to go backwards with my shoulder shrugs. We spend a lot of time during the day when we are working, whether you have a standing, set up at your workstation or not. If we're doing a lot of typing and work on the computer, we can kind of tend to be a bit hunched forward and intense here up in our chest and neck and shoulder area. So doing backwards shoulder rolls really helps to undo a lot of that and go in the opposite direction of the natural curl forward that our shoulders like to do. So as you do these backward shoulder shrugs, I'm imagining my shoulder blades trying to touch them together, my upper back. That just helps me to be mindful of a full range of motion, kind of making one big circle. That's good. They're feeling nice and warm now. Let's go into some lower body. We've got about 5 minutes left. So I like to do a Piriformis stretch. If you've been on my my Feel Good Friday stretching classes in the past, then you will likely have seen me do a Piriformis Stretch, both standing and seated on my couch behind me. You can do that in a chair as well. If you're on the floor like me, how we can do the seated Piriformis Stretch is I'm actually going to turn at my side so you can see the form a bit better. And we're going to bring one ankle up to a knee and just kind of hug in here. I like to keep my hands behind me on the ground because it kind of gives me a bit more leverage to deepen this stretch. So kind of the same form that we do seated on a chair or couch or standing. We have our ankle up on our thigh, above our knee. Try not to have it directly on your knee. I want to protect those knee joints. And then just kind of hug this leg in, and you feel that stretch deep, kind of buried deep inside this thigh and the glute area, and that's your piriformis. And that guy is small but mighty. He is responsible for lots of the sciatic, low back and hip discomfort that we might experience. So stretching our sciatic daily is really, really important, and this is a great way to do it. All right, exhale and lower that bottom leg down straight if you're on the ground like I am, and then just gently cross legs one back over the other, and then bring that other foot back up. Remembering to breathe, continue nice full inhales and exhales. We never want to hold our breath. Probably tired of hearing me say that by now, but it's important, so I'm going to continue saying it. Never hold your breath when you are exercising or stretching. Continuing to have control of our breathing and our heart rate is important. You might experience that one side of your body, one leg, one arm has a bit different range of motion than the other. Maybe a bit more limited, maybe a bit more challenging to stretch, and that's perfectly normal. Just kind of take note of that. Stretch those areas a bit more frequently, maybe. On your next exhale, let's lower that bottom leg straight out in front again, uncross the leg on top, and we'll come back. I'll come back at least to facing forward. And we're going to just end with some nice basic straight leg front folds. And we've done this in the standing versions in the past as well of these stretching classes. So just reach your feet out in front, legs straight out in front, heels flat on the floor, and toes facing up. My feet are about shoulder width apart. You can't see them, but that's okay. And let's just gently start to crawl forward with our hands. Remember, we never want to bounce either, so no bouncing when stretching. You just want to do nice, fluid, controlled transitions and movements. So I've got my hands kind of like just past the middle of my calf, almost to my ankles. That's about as far as I can reach comfortably, but definitely still engaging my hamstring and my calf muscles in this stretch, and my low back as well in sort of this modified front fold here. If you can reach your toes or your feet, great, good for you. And if you can't quite reach your calves or ankles, that's fine too. Your next exhale, let's just gently allow our body to come back to a relaxed sitting neutral. You can leave your legs stretched out in front, or you can bring them back to cross-legged. We're going to end with 3 more deep inhales and exhales. You may close your eyes. Taking inventory of your body, what feels good, what was addressed, any problem areas that were resolved, any problem areas that may remain and require your attention after this session. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you have and had, if you watch this after the holiday weekend, a nice 4th of July weekend with good food and plenty of fresh air and sunshine. And if you would at any point like to have individual classes, coaching sessions, assistance along your journey to your most optimal well-being and best self, please reach out to Courtney and myself. That's what we're here for. We'd love to get you on our calendar and assist you either in person or over the phone, wherever you are these days, to connect with you and get you set up for coaching. So thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful week. Take care.